What is up, YouTube? HPJ here, and we are visiting another archetype for my archetype series. And this time we are going to visit the underworlds and the unders of the underworld with the Subterra. So this Earth attribute archetype came to the TCG previously as one of its TCG exclusive archetypes in Dark Illusion. This actually was one of two, as Subterra and Spiral made their appearance in Dark Illusions. The funny thing is, the Subterra and the Spiral didn't really kick off until later sets in the TCG, where they ended up getting their Link support. Sadly enough, the Subterra didn't really get much of the showmanship that a lot of the that Spiral did, only due to the fact that Spiral really kicked off more, and a lot of the Spiral combinations really did rely on a lot of the new spells and traps that the Spirals got, which came from the OCG as imports to the TCG. And I think most of those ended up being TCG exclusives for certain cards, till the OCG got them within their own set of cards. Now, if you are a fan of the Subterra, I will kindly tell this. I don't know much about the Subterra except for one particular thing. Well, two particular things. One is Guru control, which I believe has to do with the Subterra Guru. And then two is that this archetype is based off of an old concept deck known as Pac-Man. So the intent of Pac-Man was that you had monsters you could flip face up and flip face down, and then a lot of their abilities would trigger. Many of those monsters were actually Earth attribute rock type monsters, such as Guardian Sphinx, what is it? Heracross Sphinx, Swarms of Scarabs, Swarms of Locusts, those types of monsters. They all had the ability to be flip face up, and if they had were flipped face up, I think by their own effects or by the player, they would consider to use their additional effects. But the thing about this archetype overall is it's more of a competitive base, has a lot more high level monsters, and a lot more synergy than most people would thought it would. So I'll be taking a look at the Subterra and doing my best to inform you all about the Subterra as they can. So I think from what I remember reading, the lore of the Subterra is that it's a battle between Behemoths and hunters. So pretty much, if you're an RPG fan, this is pretty much right up you guys' alley in terms of battling strange monsters and trying to save the world. Alright, so we're going to cut off first by going into one of the first Subterras, and that is Subterra Fiendness. She's a level 1 Earth attribute spellcaster type monster with 800 attack, 500 defense. So her effect is during either player's turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect, you can then discard this card or send this card from your field to the graveyard to activate the effect of changing target one monster you control, one target monster your opponent controls. Flip both targets face down, and then the other target you target both monsters and you flip them face down. Then you can special summon one Subterra monster from your hand to the field. Hand or graveyard to the field in either face up defense position or face down defense position. You only use each effect of Subterra Fiendness once per turn. So she is pretty much a flip up and flip down type of monster, and she is technically one of their big hand traps. We move on to the next Subterra, and that is Subterror Nemesis Defender. Earth attribute level 2 beast warrior type monster with 100 attack, 2000 defense. During either player's turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets exactly one set monster you control and you have no other cards, you can set, or when a set monster you control is targeted for an attack by your opponent, you can send this card from your hand or face up on your side of the field to the graveyard. Then target one other monster you control that would be the appropriate target for that card, effect, or attack, and now becomes the new target. While you control a set monster, this card cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect. So this is pretty much a wall-esque type of monster, and it happens to be the Beast Warrior of the archetype. Next up is Subterra Nemesis Archer, level 3 Earth Attribute Fairy type monster, 1600 attack, 1400 defense. At the start of your damage step, if this card attacks an opponent's face down defense position monster, and you control another Subterra monster, you can shuffle that opponent's monster into the deck. If this card on the field is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can summon one Subterra monster from your deck in face up or face down defense position and use each effect of Subterra Archer once per turn. And she happens to be the fairy type monster. Next up is the infamous Subterra Guru, level 4 Earth Attribute Dragon type monster with 1600 attack, 1800 defense. Flip. If you can add one Subterra card from your deck to your hand, except for Subterra Guru, you can target one other face-up monster on your side of the one face-up monster on the field, and change that monster. Change that monster. Also, what? This text is so stupid. You can target one other face-up monster on the field. Change that monster, also this card, into face-down defense position. If this is a quick effect, if you control another Subterra card, you'll use each effect of Subterra Guru once per turn. So pretty much, it's a Book of Moon. And then when it's flipped face up, it's a searcher. When it's on the field, you can quick effect and put monsters face down. That is literally what it is. So I guess that's the whole purpose of Guru control, is the ability to flip stuff face up and face down. But this is only once per turn effect. I think you have to use cards like Book of Moon, Book of Eclipse, and other cards like that and correspond with this monster effect. This happens to be the Dragon of the Archetype. We move on to the next monster, and that's, I have 2 Subterra Gurus in here. Okay. We go on to the next monster, and that is Subterra Nemesis Warrior. Earth Attribute level 4 Warrior type monster, 1800 attack, 1200 defense. During either player's turn, you can send one Subterra monster from your deck to the graveyard. Tribute this card and at least one other monster on your field whose level tributed equals or exceeds the level of that Subterra monster in your graveyard. And if you do such, to summon that monster in face up or face down defense position. If a Subterra Behemoth monster is flipped face up while this card is in your graveyard, you can still summon this card. You're going to use each effect of Subterra Nemesis Warrior once per turn. So he happens to be the warrior of the archetype, and he corresponds with, of course, the Nemesis Beast, which are all the higher level monsters. Next up is, speaking of high level monsters, we have Subterra Behemoth. I am not going to pronounce that first. Stargo Kraken. Level 5 Earth Attribute Sea Surge type monster with 1400 attack, 2600 defense. Flip. Flip. You can target set cards on the field equal to the number of Subterra Behemoth monsters you control. Destroy them. You can only use this effect of Subterra Behemoth Sucker Kraken once per turn. When a face-up monster you control is flipped face down, if you control another face-up monster, you can still summon this card from your hand in defense position. Once per turn, you can change this card to face-down defense position. Subterra Behemoth Stegora Kraken is the sea serpent of the archetype. We have Subterra Behemoth Drago Cesare, level 6 Earth Attribute Zombie type monster, 2400 attack, 1600 defense. Flip. If you can activate this effect this turn, Subterra cards you control cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effect. You only use this effect of Subterra Behemoth Jaxuri once per turn. When a face-up monster you control is flipped face down, you control no other face-up monsters, you can still summon this card from your hand in defense position. You can change once per turn. You can change this monster's battle position to face down defense position. This, ironically enough, is the zombie monster of the archetype. Then we have the Subterra Behemoth Umatrix. Okay, there we go. Umatrix. Level 7 Earth Attribute Reptile type monster, 2000 attack, 2700 defense. Flip. You can target one of your opponent's monsters they control, banish it. You're going to use this effect of Subterra Behemoth Umatrix once per turn, and then also has the whole flip up, flip face down effect as well. Next up is Subterra Behemoth. Oh wow. Okay. Foso Hero Glacier. Level 8 Earth Attribute Aqua type monster, 2600 attack, 2500 defense. Flip. You can send one card from your deck to the graveyard. You can only use this effect of Subterra Behemoth Fospiroglyph once per turn. Then we have the Subterra Voltaraxic, Earth attribute level 9 Thunder type monster. 1900 attack, 3000 defense. Its effect is flip when you target one set monster your opponent controls. Take control of it until the end of your next turn. You only use this effect of Subterra Behemoth Voltaraxic once per turn. And this happens to be the Thunder type monster of the Archetype. And so has applied the face up, face down feature of this monster. Next up is the Subterra Staliomo, level 10 Earth attribute rock type monster with 2800 attack, 2100 defense. Flip. You can discard one Subterra monster. If you do, draw 2 cards. You can only use this effect of Subterra Behemoth Staliomo once per turn. And this is the rock type monster of the archetype. Then we have the Subterra Behemoth Speleogeist, level 11, 3000 attack, 1400 defense, Earth type fiend monster. You can target one monster on the field, change that monster to face up attack position, and if it's in defense position, you can also make its attack 0. You know, use this effect of Subterra Behemoth Speleogeist once per turn, and this is the fiend type monster of the archetype. And the last of the main monsters for the Subterras is Subterra Behemoth Ultra Mafius, level 12, Earth attribute Pyro type monster, 3000 attack, 1800 defense, and happens to be, I think, the highest level monster and the highest static setup of the big monsters in terms of attack. Flip effect, you can change all other face-up monsters on the field to face-down defense position. You only use this effect of Subterra Behemoth Ultra Mafius once per turn. And this is the Pyro monster of the archetype. We go on to the spells. We have the Hidden City field spell. You can activate this card. Add one Subterra monster from your deck to your hand. Once a turn, you can change one face-down defense position Subterra monster you control to face-up attack position or face-up defense position. Once per turn, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can change one face-down defense position Subterra monster you control to face-up attack position or defense position. Then you can negate the attack. You only activate one Hidden City per turn. So this is pretty much where the battles of the Subterras consist. We have the Subterra Cave Clash, continuous spell card. Also, Terra monster you control gain 500 attack and defense for each set monster on the field. Once per turn, when a Subterra monster you control inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target one Subterra card in your graveyard, except for Subterra Cave Clash, and add it to your hand. Then we, which I think in this artwork you have the Subterror Nemesis Warrior and the Subterra Drago Necessity. Or no, that's not Necessity. I'm sorry, that's Stalagomo in that picture, I believe. It's one of them. No, it's Stalagomo, because I don't think it's the others. Alright, and then we move on to the chats. We have Subterra Behemoth Burrowing. You can manage one Subterra monster from your graveyard. For the rest of the turn, face down monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. Also, your opponent cannot target them with card effects. If this card on the field is destroyed by a card effect, you can add one Subterra monster from your deck to your hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard and target one Subterra monster in your grave you control and change it to face down defense position. Next is Subterra Secession. Secession. And activate one of the following effects. Also, after that, set this card face down on the field instead of sending it to the graveyard. Send one monster from your hand or face up on your field to the graveyard. And if you do, you can add one flip monster from your deck to your hand with the same attribute but a different name as the monster before that was sent to the graveyard. You send one flip monster from your hand or face up on your side of the field to the graveyard, and if you do, add one monster from your deck to your hand who's the same attribute but lower original level as the monster before it that was sent to the graveyard. You can only activate one Subterra Secession per turn. and it features Guru and Nemesis Warrior in its artwork. Next up is the last of the main deck Subterra cards. So we have Subterra Final Battle. You can activate one of the following effects of this card. After that, set this card face down on the field instead of sending it to the graveyard. Change one set Subterra monster on the field to face up attack or defense position. Change one face up Subterra monster on the field to face down defense position. The attack and defense of one Subterra monster on the field becomes equal to its combined original attack and defense until the end of the turn. This turn, activate the effects of Subterra monsters. Activated effects of Subterra monsters cannot be negated. So this features many of all of the Subterra monsters in the wake of Subterror Nemesis Warrior, who is ready for battle. We have the one Subterra extra deck monster, and that is Subterra Behemoth Feedness. Germ, attribute Earth type monster, 2000 attack, points bottom left, bottom right. Needs two flip effect monsters for its link summon. This card gains attack equal to the combined original level of Subterra monsters used for this card's link summon times 100. During your main phase, you can send one flip monster from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon one monster from your hand in face down to fifth position to a zone that this card points to. You and use this effect of Subterra Behemoth Feedness once per turn. Once per turn, if a monster that this card points to is flipped face up, add one flip monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So the Subterra Behemoth Feedness is a combination of a couple of the Subterra monsters bashed into one. The crazy thing about the Subterra monster archetype is that it really does focus on these flip effect monsters and the monsters that have flip abilities. This entire archetype, honestly, like I said, it's an archetype that probably does well if it can get its engine going, and probably does have a good survive to it. But that is pretty much it for all of the information here for the Subterra. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys do enjoy this archetype video. So let me know in the comments section. Also, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys next time. HBJ signing out. Take care.